Hi everyone, it's Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I share homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. I want to talk to you today about how I am preparing for Christmas for our family of 12. If this is your first time on my channel, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherry. I'm a homeschooling mom to 10 kids. I've been married to my high school sweetheart Nelson for 23 years. I love encouraging other moms on my YouTube channel and on the blog, OurLifeHomeschooling.com. Now that it's December, we are in the Christmas month, and I want to talk to you about how I plan and prepare for Christmas for our large family. As I was thinking about this video, I looked back and I actually did a very similar video last year. It was called A Realistic Guide to a Simple Large Family Christmas. I'm going to link it for you in the notes so you can take a look if you'd like to. And as I was looking at this, I realized that a lot of the prep that I do for Christmas has not changed that much. Everything that I had last year is just a lot of the stuff that I would have said in this video, so I thought about not even doing it. But last year I was in a little bit different place. I was 8 months pregnant with our 10th, Benjamin, and this year we're in a totally different spot. We have a graduate who's away at college. He's coming home. Now I'm not pregnant, so I don't feel that physical strain anymore, but I have a 10-month-old who is moving around, pulling ornaments down, opening all the cabinets, pulling everything out. So I'm in a totally different phase, and although a lot of the things that I do are the same, there are just a few things that are different this year that I thought I would share with you in how we prepare for Christmas. I guess if you consider that I'm doing a lot similar to how I did it last year, it just shows a little bit of consistency. I think when you have a large family, you really have to have a plan in place. You have to keep things really simple, which is what we do around here. You have to be realistic about what you're able to accomplish, how you can make Christmas special for your family, but also do it in a way that's not gonna leave you frazzled and stressed out. And so that's what I want to talk about today. The very first thing I do when I'm starting to make plans for our Christmas is to write everything down. I get out my planner and I make a list, and my list is usually surprisingly very short because I have a lot of basic things on there. I don't have a lot of exciting plans. I have things on my list that people may not even have on their list, but I know that I have to be realistic about what we're able to accomplish. And so I write down what I know we're going to be able to do and what's important to me. A lot of people ask moms who have a lot of kids, how do you do it all? And the truth is, we don't do it all. In fact, I've run into a ton of friends in November who told me they had already started their Christmas shopping or they finished their Christmas shopping. Today is December 6th, and I can tell you that we have not done any Christmas shopping. And maybe it seems like for a large family, you should do even more planning and more prep ahead of time. But what my husband and I have found is that when you are juggling as much as you are when you have multiple children, we live in the moment. So before we get to December, we had other things that we're focusing on, and Christmas is just not on our minds at all. And then once we get into the month of Christmas, especially the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, everything else gets put aside and we are strictly in Christmas mode and trying to make these 2 weeks very special for our family. So we haven't prepped ahead. For those of you that are with me that haven't done any Christmas shopping yet, that haven't, gotten that head start, I'm going to make you feel so much better because we have not started. We haven't bought any Christmas gifts. We usually get going in the first or second week of Christmas. My husband and I will go ahead and get started on that together. I found myself in the past, maybe there's something that that I really want to do for Christmas, something I want to accomplish. And when I'm talking with Nelson about it, I'll say, I just don't know how other people do this, or I don't know how we can make this work. How do other people do this? And he'll remind me, you have 10 kids. We have 10 kids. We have a graduate. We have 4 teenagers right now. We have a baby. We have a toddler. And I don't know why, but there is a tendency for me to just compare myself to people that are in different seasons than we are, and to think that I should be able to do those same things. And I have learned and am learning that I cannot compare our large family to the average size family. I can't try to accomplish things that people are accomplishing that are in completely different seasons of life. I have to do what's best for our family and for our season right now. So if you find yourself comparing to other people and what they're able to do, this is your reminder to do what's best for your family and not to try to accomplish all these other things. For example, I have wanted for years and years to make nice homemade gifts for my kids' Sunday school teachers. This is the year. I hope it happens. I want to make it happen. But in the past, sometimes that's something I just had to lay aside. Another thing that I had wanted to do was, there's just certain performances, just some nice, fun, Christmassy, cultural experiences that I wanted to take my kids to do. But I knew that that year, it was just going to make things more stressful for us. So it doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It just means that it may not happen right now or right at Christmas. So just realizing that you can't put expectations on your large family that maybe some other families of a different size or in a different season are able to do. Secondly, I have learned how important it is to work with my husband on this, for us to work as a team. And we do this especially for getting our kids gifts. We order gifts online for the most part. There's a couple things that we might go to a local store to get, but we've just found that it's hard for us to have time to go out and do shopping. Shopping takes up a lot of time, and that's what we don't have a lot of with a large family, because our time is spent meeting the individual needs of our kids. So for us to shop online, it really helps to just take care of that part of it. And usually we'll start here in the next couple days. Every evening after the kids are in bed, we'll sit down and we'll get online together, maybe spend an hour shopping and just get a little here, a little there. We start by having our kids make up lists for us. So they have already given their papers to us, given us their lists. When my husband and I sat down this year and talked, we said, how can we keep the gift giving really simple and yet make sure the kids feel special and like they got something that they really wanted? So for us, we are getting them one big gift on their list, one secondary gift, so something just a little bit smaller, and then our kids all do a name exchange. And so they'll get a gift from a sibling. We also get a couple things that are more like group gifts or little family gifts. Sometimes there's just some board games we want, or some different things like that that work better as a group gift. Now for some people, this may seem really simplistic and, you know, like the poor kids, they're not getting very much for Christmas. Other people may think this is just great, nice and easy. But I can say that when you have multiple people in a home, there's more of everything. And I personally find that I have a harder time keeping things to a minimal amount. We're always getting rid of things. The more people you have, the more they accumulate through birthdays, not just the gifts they get from us, but from all their friends, all their relatives. For Christmas, they get gifts from both sides of the family, and it just accumulates. So if it seems simplistic, it's because when you have more kids, you have more of everything. And I find that I have more of a problem just not having too much in the house than I do of the kids needing and wanting things that we're not able to give them. One advantage that big families have is that we have many hands. Many hands make light work. And I think we need to take advantage of the benefits of our large family to meet the needs of our Christmas to help us bring Christmas together. And one way we can do this is by allowing our kids to help. We have so many older kids who are capable and who really love this kind of thing. I have one daughter who loves to sew, and she'll get out the sewing machine randomly and make all kinds of things, handmade ornaments, little gifts. I have another child who really loves to help make our calendars online. I make a calendar for both of our parents. And so that's one thing that I don't have to do because that's done. She loves to do that. As far as Christmas cookies, I have not made Christmas cookies in a long time because my kids love making them. And I have enough older kids who can do it all on their own. Usually they'll have a sibling come along to help, a younger kid, but they want to do this. When it comes to wrapping gifts, we have some middle kids who love wrapping gifts, so maybe ages 7 to 12. They ask and they want to wrap all the gifts. I haven't wrapped gifts in a long time because they do it all. They ask to do it. Yes, it doesn't look like how I would do it, but they're a part of it. They feel like they're contributing, and it really helps me. Another area is decorating. I like to do a lot of the decorating around our house. It gives me just enjoyment to be able to do that and kind of put my mark on things. Sometimes I'll have my older girls help because they like doing it as well, but especially our tree. Our tree, I let the kids decorate it, and it may not be something that you would see in a Southern Living magazine, but it's special to us. It's filled with all these handmade things that my kids have made in co-op or in Sunday school classes, and things that are meaningful to us. And I love that it's decorated by my children, and I'm proud of it. So wherever you can find an opportunity to let your kids help, this is the advantage that large families have. Many hands make light work. During the last 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, I do what I like to call Christmas schooling, where we do a lot lighter work. So, for example, science and history, I'll probably either cut it out completely or I'll just do a lot lighter readings for that. And we'll do a lot more Christmas type things. During this time, we focus on hymns. We do all the Christmas carols. So when I say the very basics, during the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, we do reading, writing, and math. And the extra things around that would be our Christmas schooling. For their writing, they do some Christmas copywork. This is something that I have made available to all my email subscribers. I'll link that below. You can get that for free by signing up to receive my weekly newsletter. This is beautiful copywork. It's passages from scripture, from great literature, from some of our favorite chapter books and poems during this season. Also, when I read to them, I have several chapter books and picture books that we love to read every year. So in the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, I'll be reading those. You can find a list of these books on the blog as well. One thing that I am hoping to do this year as part of our Christmas school is to get out some art prints that are focused on Christmas. And I found a few Norman Rockwell ones that I really like. This is something that I think I might try to do in the future, just to add to our school, just get a collection of art prints and show them a different one every day. I think this would be a great addition to our Christmas school. After our reading, writing, and math, we'll do any kind of baking, handmade gifts, or Christmas cards, any of those extra things that are on my list of things to do for Christmas. We'll do that as part of our schoolwork. It is really important for me to have the kids involved in some kind of service so that they can see that Christmas isn't all about just getting gifts and what they're getting and what they're going to open for Christmas. And this can be a little tricky with a large family because it's not as easy for us to just go out and do as many things. And so this year, what I would like to do is to have my kids reach out to other people by writing letters and maybe even calling. So instead of going to a nursing home and visiting someone or going and serving at a soup kitchen or something like that, we can reach out to people in ways that are meaningful by just writing a letter, maybe to a widow who just lost her husband, or writing a thank you letter to someone that we know, reaching out to someone who is older that's just shut at home. I know one year my son called an elderly gentleman at home and just talked with him for 5 minutes, and I can tell you that was the highlight of that man's week. So just because it's not as easy for you to go out and do things, you can still reach out and serve other people in meaningful ways by writing letters and with phone calls. One thing that has stayed consistent for every year that I'm planning Christmas is to remind myself to be consistent with our family chores. Because I find that if things are orderly and if we have a clear island, clear table, if the laundry is caught up, it seems like Christmas is manageable. But if we get behind in any of those things, that's the point when I start to feel overwhelmed and it just seems like it's not doable and things get a little stressful. For us to keep our home in order, that means doing our morning chores, which takes about half an hour every morning. And then in the afternoon, we'll usually do a pickup and sometimes again a pickup before bed. And just reminding myself to stay consistent with those things is going to help make Christmas more smooth and more enjoyable, especially when you go to bed in the evening. Everything's cleaned up, the candles are lit, the tree's lit, and we can enjoy the lights outside. It's just a really peaceful feeling that I want to bring to our home. If you are a mom and you get overwhelmed with Christmas, especially if you have multiple children, I want to remind you to look at Christmas as a family affair. It's easy for the mom to feel all the pressure because we're thinking about, is everyone getting the same amount of gifts? Are things fair for this person and that person? Oh, did I remember to do this? There is a lot that's on our plates this time of year. But if you can gather your family around you and remind them, this Christmas we can make it as great as we want to. If everyone joins in together and contributes and does their part, if we each do something to help make this a nice Christmas for our family, then you're not going to feel the weight completely on you. Make Christmas a family affair and then be okay with things not being perfect. I have to remind myself of this. We have 10 children. My 10-month-old is pulling the ornaments off the tree constantly. He's dumping things. There are some idealistic plans that I would love to make a part of our Christmas in the future. But for this year, the most important thing is that we have our children around us. We're all here, happy, safe, healthy, and we want to focus on the most important part of Christmas, which is Christ's birth. God becoming a man and saving the world. And we don't want to let all these other things distract us from the true meaning of Christmas and the joy that we can have knowing that we have hope in Christ. This is what we'll be planning for our family this Christmas. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you do to keep Christmas simple and meaningful for your family. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.